Welcome to Celestial Zodiac. Today we're breaking down Mercury Retrograde by zodiac sign. How this frequently discussed retrograde shows up differently depending on where Mercury is traveling through the zodiac. Mercury rules how we think, communicate, process information, and make sense of the world around us. It governs speech, learning, decision-making, perception, memory, and everyday exchanges. Mercury shows how we interpret information, how we express ideas, and how we connect thoughts to action. It influences conversations, contracts, technology, travel, and timing, not in a dramatic way but in the subtle mechanics of daily life. When Mercury functions smoothly, information flows. When it's disrupted, misunderstandings arise. Mercury also rules mental habits. How we analyze, question, organize, and rationalize. It reflects how quickly we process information, how flexible our thinking is, and how open we are to new perspectives. When Mercury is stressed, confusion, miscommunication, and mental overload increase. During a Mercury retrograde, these functions don't stop. They turn inward. Thought patterns loop. Conversations resurface. Decisions require revision. The mind becomes reflective rather than linear, revealing gaps between what we think we've communicated and what's actually been understood. Mentally, Mercury retrograde can feel draining rather than dramatic. Focus fluctuates, concentration breaks easily, and simple decisions take longer than expected. The mind revisits old ideas. Conversations replay internally, and clarity feels just out of reach. This isn't mental failure, it's mental reprocessing. Mercury retrograde exposes where information has been rushed, misunderstood, or assumed rather than confirmed. When Mercury retrogrades, forward mental momentum slows. Information that once felt clear becomes fragmented or requires clarification. Plans need revision, messages are misunderstood, and timing feels off. This isn't because Mercury is breaking things, but because the usual outward flow of communication is interrupted. During this period, old conversations, unfinished business, and unresolved ideas return for reconsideration. Mental patterns repeat until insight is gained. This can feel frustrating, especially when progress depends on clarity, but Mercury retrograde is designed for review, reflection, and recalibration, not final decisions. Thoughts turn inward, encouraging us to listen more carefully, question assumptions, and revisit ideas we rushed through previously. When Mercury stations direct, clarity returns, but only after mental blind spots have been addressed. The sign Mercury retrogrades in matters because it determines how this internal processing plays out psychologically. This isn't about houses or external events. It's about perception, interpretation, and communication style. Mercury retrograde asks us to rethink how we gather information, speak, listen, and understand. With Mercury retrograde in Aries, thinking slows in an area that usually moves quickly. Impulsive speech gives way to hesitation, second-guessing, or mental frustration. Miscommunication often stems from speaking too quickly or assuming others are on the same page. The life theme tested is identity, initiative, and self-expression. The lesson is learning that clarity doesn't require speed. Thoughtful communication strengthens confidence. Mercury retrograde in Taurus challenges fixed thinking patterns. Mental rigidity increases, and it becomes harder to shift perspectives once a belief is formed. Communication may stall around money, values, or practical concerns. The life theme tested is values, security, and material priorities. The lesson is learning when stability becomes resistance. Flexibility restores understanding. Mercury retrograde in Gemini intensifies mental noise. Thoughts race, conversations loop, and distractions multiply. Information overload leads to confusion rather than clarity. The life theme tested is communication, learning, and decision-making. The lesson is slowing the mind, filtering information, and choosing depth over constant input. Mercury retrograde in Cancer makes thinking emotionally charged. Past memories, emotional conversations, and unresolved family dynamics resurface. Communication becomes indirect, protective, or nostalgic. The life theme tested is emotional security and expression. The lesson is learning to separate feelings from facts and speak needs clearly instead of defensively. Mercury retrograde in Leo challenges self-expression. Words may feel misinterpreted, ignored, or undervalued. Confidence in one's voice fluctuates, especially when validation is delayed. The life theme tested is creativity, recognition, and self-expression. The lesson is communicating authentically rather than performatively. Mercury retrograde in Virgo disrupts precision and organization. Overthinking, self-criticism, and mental fatigue increase as details refuse to line up neatly. The life theme tested is work habits, problem-solving, and mental efficiency. The lesson is releasing perfectionism and trusting progress without total control. Mercury retrograde in Libra complicates communication and relationships. Indecision, people-pleasing, and unspoken tension surface. Conversations circle without resolution. The life theme tested is partnerships, balance, and fairness. The lesson is learning that clarity sometimes requires discomfort. Honesty restores harmony. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio intensifies mental focus. Thoughts turn obsessive, investigative, or secretive. Communication becomes guarded, with truths surfacing slowly. The life theme tested is trust, power, and emotional truth. The lesson is learning when to release mental control instead of digging deeper. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius questions belief systems. Big ideas feel scattered and confidence in long-term plans wavers. Communication around truth, ethics, or direction becomes muddled. The life theme tested is belief, meaning, and perspective. The lesson is refining ideas before preaching them. Mercury retrograde in Capricorn slows strategic thinking. Plans require restructuring and communication with authority figures becomes strained. Mental pressure increases around responsibility and expectations. The life theme tested is career, structure, and long-term goals. The lesson is learning that reassessment strengthens authority. Mercury retrograde in Aquarius disrupts unconventional thinking. Ideas feel ahead of their time but difficult to articulate. Group communication misfires and detachment replaces dialogue. The life theme tested is innovation, individuality, and community. The lesson is grounding ideas before sharing them widely. Mercury retrograde in Pisces blurs mental boundaries. Intuition strengthens but logic weakens. Miscommunication stems from assumptions, idealism, or avoidance. The life theme tested is mental clarity and emotional boundaries. The lesson is learning to translate intuition into clear language. Across all signs, Mercury retrograde reveals one shared pattern. Clarity comes from reflection, not speed. This retrograde isn't meant to block progress. It's meant to refine understanding. Working with Mercury retrograde means listening carefully, reviewing information, and slowing mental reactions. When Mercury stations direct, communication flows again, but with deeper awareness and improved clarity. Thank you for watching this video on Celestial Zodiac. If you found this breakdown of Mercury retrograde helpful, please like, subscribe, and share so more people can learn how to work with these cycles instead of fighting them. Your support helps keep this channel growing, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, take care and think with intention.